Hey guys, my name is Mr. and today I'm going to be playing on a game mode that you probably haven't seen in quite some time, and that is Squad Deathmatch. I used to love this thing back in Bad Company 2. This was my go-to game mode if I just wanted to relieve some stress, if I just wanted to kill some people, and in general, it was really popular back in Bad Company 2. But ever since Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 rolled around, it feels like this is hardly ever played. It feels like it's just fallen off the side of the universe. And so I wanted to find out for myself why this was the case. Like I said, I loved it back then, the community loved it back then, but ever since these games have come out, it's like everyone is now playing other game modes, and this one has just kind of fallen by the wayside. And so the first thing that I hypothesized is that maybe the maps are terrible for this game mode. Maybe they're too large and you have to run around for 5 minutes to find any action. Maybe they just don't flow well in general. And while there are a few exceptions, like Siege of Shanghai, where you'll have one squad camping on the rooftop all game long, and you can never get up there because they just camp every single ladder and the elevator, and so you're basically just getting shot from up above the entire round. All of the game modes work fine for it. Like, I had no problem finding action. Like, sure, it's a little slower than other modes. It might take you a little bit longer to find someone to shoot at, but in general, it's still fun on pretty much all of the maps. The other thing I hypothesize is that maybe because in Bad Company 2, there was a tank when you're playing on this mode, because they've taken away the vehicles in Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4, maybe that's the reason why it wasn't as popular. But then when I remembered, and when I went back and played Bad Company 2, I remembered that no one touched the vehicles, and actually it was looked down upon if you ever jumped in one of them, and the entire server would basically band together to take you out and make it so that you didn't have that. Like, I'm literally, like, everyone would jump on over to the engineer class, fire a bunch of rockets at you to make it so that you didn't have that vehicle anymore, and then everyone would go back to playing as the infantry gameplay. And so this is actually, I think, something that DICE took from the community, realized that the community didn't enjoy about Bad Company's 2 version of Squad Deathmatch, and took the vehicle away. So that hypothesis was completely out the window. Another theory I had was that they added in new gadgets, and maybe those gadgets hindered the gameplay. Maybe it results in too much camping, people maybe just laying down claymores and making it atrocious for everyone to enjoy the experience. And while you do run into every once in a while some people that are just camping in a corner, camping in one of the buildings with some claymores down, it still had that Bad Company 2 feel. Like, people were using their primary weapons, they were running around, and if you were able to get a flank off an entire squad, it was actually one of the coolest things that you can do in Battlefield. Like, there were some moments when I literally got an awesome flank off while one squad was fighting another squad, and I mopped pretty much almost every single one of them up. It was fantastic. And so while the gadgets may play a role into the success or why people haven't been playing this game mode, I don't think that that is the sole reason. The only thing I could come up with, and I think that this is probably the best explanation why, is that when Battlefield 3 launched, DICE introduced Team Deathmatch into the Battlefield franchise. It was the first time that this game mode was introduced. A lot of people were surprised by it, but the entire community fell in love with this game mode. Like, everyone loves that high-octane action. They love getting right back into the things and shooting at people, and if Operation Metro and Operation Locker are any indication that people just love to shoot and die constantly, Team Deathmatch is a fan favorite. And I think that because the franchise never had this mode, and then back in Bad Company 2, this was like the closest thing to basically having Team Deathmatch. That's the reason why it was so popular back in Bad Company 2, but now that we have a mode that people were pretty much looking for since day one, the mode that was so popular has died off. I really do think that it is the keystone to this issue, and the only other explanation that I can think of is that when Battlefield 3 first launched, the game mode was full of bugs and glitches. At one point, if you remember, you had the capabilities of switching and dogpiling all in one squad, so like one squad would only have like 4 people in it, while another one would have 10, and of course the one with 10 would just destroy the one with 4, and because of that, and because those issues weren't resolved very quickly, I think a lot of people had a bad experience with Squad Deathmatch. They jumped in, got murdered by the squad with 10 people, or just murdered and got fed up with all of the bugs and glitches, and so then when they looked back on Battlefield 3's Squad Deathmatch, they never looked at it in a positive light, and so when they took that on over into Battlefield 4, they had no interest in the game mode. Those are the only two reasons why I think this thing has diminished the way that it has. And so with all that being said, I then thought to myself, well, how would we remedy these problems? What could we do to bring in more people? How could we get more people involved with Squad Deathmatch? Because I really do think that this is a hidden gem in the community. It is a lot of fun. Like I said, that there are some moments that you have in Squad Deathmatch that you can't have in any other game mode simply because of the dynamic of the squad system and pitting all of these squads against each other. And so one thing that I thought of was just simply increasing the player count, where instead of just having 4 squads duking it out, you could bump it up to 5, 6, or even like 8 squads in one round. They've already made it abundantly clear. The community has made it very clear that they don't mind playing on 64-man TDM. Sure, it gets crazy, but people just like shooting at things. They like to have that high-octane action. They just love getting back into things and having millions of bullets whizzing around everywhere. And if they had that same type of action in Squad Deathmatch, or at least the option to do so, maybe, just maybe, that could bring more people into the fold and get them excited about the mode once again. The one thing that does make me a little hesitant about this idea, though, is that it may take away from the tactical gameplay that stems from just working with your squad mates in this mode, and it may get a little bit too chaotic. If you have 5 people in a squad and they're going against 40 people, that might get a little bit too insane. But now that I actually think about it, maybe that's what people are looking for. Like, maybe if you want to jump in with 4 of your closest friends, you want to work together and just go against a mob and an armada of other people that aren't necessarily all working together, but plenty of targets to choose from, maybe that is what people are looking for, and possibly what could revitalize the mode. The only other thing I could think of was bringing back the LAV, having a side objective where if your team is able to hold on to that objective, holding on to the LAV, you're going to be one step closer to winning the round. And who knows, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that was a secret ingredient to making Squad Deathmatch the way that it was, but I don't think I am. Like, even today, even when I jumped back and played Bad Company 2, people were avoiding it, no one was jumping on in because it was looked down upon. It wasn't what people were really looking for. And so I'd like to get your guys' take on this. Do you think anything needs to be done to try to make the game mode more popular? Do you agree with my theories on the reasons why this mode has diminished in its popularity, or do you think that it should just die off? I mean, we have a lot of game modes. We have Team Deathmatch. There's a lot of game modes under the sun, and should this be one that just slowly fades into the sunset and we just remember it for what it was back in Bad Company 2? Let me know down below. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. I thought that this would just be a fun topic to talk about since we hardly see anyone playing Squad Deathmatch. But until tomorrow, have a good one and take it easy.